Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Hope you all are fine. Welcome to another virtual class of physics. Hope you are good and doing well and understood the previous lectures. In today's lecture, we have to do the second and third type of motion. You have studied the first type of motion in your previous lecture and its subtypes. Okay. Okay, there are the types of motion. There are total 3 types of motion. Okay, the first one is called the translatory motion. As you have studied the translatory motion, that the translatory motion of a body moves along a line without any rotation. The line may be straight or a curve. Okay, the second type of motion is called rotatory motion, and the third type is called vibratory motion. You have studied in your previous lecture that there are 3 types of translatory motion. First one is called the linear motion. Linear motion is the straight line motion of a body. For example, the motion of a car in a straight and level road. The objects falling vertically down is also the example of linear motion. Okay, the second type of motion is called the circular motion. The motion of an object in a circular path is known as circular motion. For example, the motion of the earth around the sun, that motion is called the circular motion. The motion of the moon around the earth, this is also called the circular motion. Okay, a toy train moving in a circular track, the racing cars follows the circular path and moves in a circular motion. Okay, the third one is called the random motion. The irregular motion of an object is called random motion. For example, the flight of a butterfly, the football players in a ground, and the gas and liquid molecules. The motion of the gas and liquid molecules, or you can say that the irregular motion of gas molecules or the liquid molecules, is called Brownian motion. The second type of motion is called the rotatory motion. Okay. The definition of the rotatory motion is the spinning motion of a body about its axis. That is called the rotatory motion. You have seen a spinner in your home. Just like the spinning motion. As you have seen a picture, there is a vertical line and the body moves about its line. That is called the axis. Okay, here is the axis, the vertical line, a point where about which a line around which a body rotates. That is called the axis. What is an axis? The first question arises in our mind that what is axis? Axis basically a line around which the body rotates. For example, the fan. Fan is fixed at some specific point, that is a fixed point, and rotate about that fixed point. That point is called the axis. Earth also have a rotatory motion. Earth have 2 types of motion. Earth have a circular motion. The earth revolves around the sun, moves a circular path. So we can say that earth have a circular motion. But at the same time, earth also have the rotatory motion. Just because of the circular motion of the earth, we can see the seasons, and because of the rotation of the earth, we can see the day and night. So we can say that the circular motion of the earth is responsible for the changing of the seasons and the rotatory motion is responsible for the changing of day and night. Here is another example of rotatory motion and the axis of rotation. There is a wheel. Wheel is fixed from axle and that point is called the axis of rotation, and the wheel rotate about its axis. Here is another example of rotatory motion is steering wheel. You can see in your cars, in your vehicles, a steering wheel. A steering wheel is fixed at a point and we can rotate the steering wheel with the help of our hands about that point. Okay, so we can say that the steering wheel has a rotatory motion and it moves about its axis. Okay, now move to the another example of rotatory motion is the needles of the clock. There are three needles, one for hour, one for minutes, and the third one for the seconds. These needles move in a clock about its axis. There is a fixed point. We can fix all the needles at one point and all the needles move about that point. So we can say that all the needles of the clock have a rotatory motion. Okay. There is another example of a top. You can see the picture of a top that it moves or rotate about a fixed point, the spinning motion of a top about its axis. This is also an example of rotatory motion. Okay. This example is only for boys. Boys mostly do this in sports. A ball rotates about its fixed position, about its axis, and that axis is the point of axis is our finger. Mostly boys do with their folders in classroom, with their notebooks. They rotate the notebook, they rotate the folder about its axis. Here you can see the earth that moves around the sun. The green path shows the circular path. So here is the circular motion of the earth. Also at the same time the earth revolve about its axis, rotate about its axis. So at the same time earth have two types of motions. The first one is the circular motion and the other one have the rotatory motion. The earth rotate and complete its one rotation in 24 hours about its axis. So after 24 hours we can see the day. Okay, now move on to the third type of motion. That is called the vibratory motion. This is the to and fro motion of a body about its mean position. Okay, the mean position means there is a fixed point and from that mean position there is a fixed points towards left and towards right side. That is called the to and fro motion. To and fro motion means the motion of a body between two fixed points. As you have seen a ball hanging with a string and moves to and fro, left and right, back and forth about its fixed position. The red line shows the fixed position or the mean position. Now move on to the other examples of vibratory motion. There is a clock and having a pendulum. You can see the pendulum with the clocks, and that pendulum moves left and right. So we can say that the motion of the pendulum is vibratory motion because its motion is to and fro. To and fro means the motion of the pendulum between two fixed points about its mean position. Okay, another example of vibratory motion is a swing. You can see the swing. At the mid of the swing there is a mean position and swing moves backward forward. There are two fixed points, so we can say that the to and fro motion of a swing, it is the example of vibratory motion. Okay, here is another example of seesaw. The mid of the seesaw there is a fixed point. This is a fixed, and the seesaw from up and down. There are two fixed points. The seesaw move up and down. This is also an example of vibratory motion. Okay, you can see a cradle of a baby. It is also have a to and fro motion about its mean position. So this is also an example of vibratory motion. Okay, here is another example of a ringing bell. Okay, you can see the structure of the ringing bell in picture. As you have here the ringing bell in your schools, the internal structure of the ringing bell is here like this. When we press the button on, the hammer like strip moves towards the bell and hit it. It means it have a vibratory motion. Another example of vibratory motion is the strings of the guitar or a sitar or rubab. There are many instruments, musical instruments, having the same phenomena. The strings move up and down. They have a to and fro motion. So we can say that the strings of the sitar or a guitar have a vibratory motion and produces a sound. Okay students, now this time is for your diary. You have to do the chapter number 2 kinematics, and you have to learn the question number 3, second type of motion, that is called the rotatory motion, and the third type of motion, that is called the vibratory motion, from your notes. And write down the 5 examples from rotatory motion and vibratory motion that are not present in your notes. You have to write down the examples from your daily life, from your surroundings. You have to observe to your surroundings and write down the examples of rotatory motion and vibratory motion.